Good morning, students. Hold on while I blow myself up. There we go. How are you? Thank you for joining me. Boy, the lights look low, don't they? Oh, maybe that's better. What was her name? And Streetcar Named Desire. What was her name? Keep the lights down. Good morning, class. Look at, I have our chalkboard here. Day 109, 109 days. Tomorrow we will be on 110 days. How exciting for me. I don't know about you. It's so exciting for me. Especially because I have to say that doing all of this has really kept my spirits at least up somewhat. When I'm not doing something like teaching, my spirits go way down in the dumps, especially lately, because boy, have I not felt supported. I have not felt supported. And I bet you know what that feels like, don't you? I bet you know what it feels like sometimes when you say things and people don't listen, or when you say things and people don't care, or, or it's not important, or they think it's funny when you think it's serious, right? Or they listen to gossip and they listen to lies, and that all that stuff makes you feel bad, doesn't it? And so why am I telling you that right now? Well, because some of you probably know that I've been feeling kind of bad about things, and then you think, well, how can she go on and have such a pleasant face? I don't know. How do you do it? I don't know. But I just try and be honest, right? I try and be honest. And I think that that's a great start for everybody. I think that if we had everybody who wanted to start with being honest, we would have way less criminals in the world, don't you think? Because criminals are built on dishonesty. What is dishonesty? That's lies. Criminals are built on lies. Okay, so, and the criminal enterprises that they run and giant organizations, and then a whole bunch of nonprofit leeches that are part of those organizations. Oh my goodness gracious. It's been kind of a hard holiday for me. How about for you? I hope not. But I am so happy to be back. And so let's get started. Did you see? So we went from yesterday in Epiphany in our Bible stories, right? And we're going today to learn how to tell time and counting by fives. Now, why would we be counting by fives? Let me get my glasses here. We're counting by fives because that helps us tell time better, all right? So we're kind of killing two birds with one stone. Although nobody needs to be killing birds. I had a bunch of dead birds on my property, see? And nobody listened or cared. And now look at the predicament I'm in. Somebody should have taken care of those dead birds. They were killing more than two birds with one stone. Just letting you know. Okay, so there's our, look, I want to show you something because I've been playing around all morning. So watch this. Oh, I put on a New Year's background for us, right? So I can only do that from the PowerPoint slide, but look at that. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Early Bird Classroom, and thank you again for joining me. All right, now, stop playing. Stop playing. We're supposed to be getting to something else here. Okay, so learning how to count by fives helps us learn how to tell time. So that's the first bird. The first bird. Counting by fives. And look what I did. I brought up our 5's timetables. Okay? So right there, all the way to, go all the way over there to the last column. Keep going, go, 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 go. The last column. It's over there in purple, right? It's got a purple box around purple box. Right there, we're going to start counting by fives. We don't need to start with zero. Zero's nothing. So we don't need to start with zero. So we're just going to go right down the line. Right down the line, all the way last column. Thank you, Twinkle, for these. I love these. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And this is a wonderful thing because we are learning the tables of five, the table of five, right? The multiplication table of five. That's what we call this. We call it the multiplication table of five. Oh, then we're like, oh, you mean 0 times 5 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 5 is 30. 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 5 is 40. 9 times 5 is 45. 10 times 5 is 50. 11 times 5 is 55. And what's our last number on our clock? Our last number on our clock is 12, isn't it? Right? When we look at the clock, the last number on the clock is 12. Let's see. I know I've got the clock here, but I didn't like the clock I had, is what I'm saying. And so I took it down. And now I want it again. Even though I don't like it, and I'll show you why I don't like it. So let's see. And I'm doing all of this. Oh, well, this is okay. But that's not what I wanted. Who's she talking to when she does that? I don't even know who she's talking to. All right, there we go. So there's my clock. Oh, I do like that one. That one turned out perfectly. I don't see the white around the edges barely, which was the problem. And now the problem is that the clock is my head. Okay, so now I am going to keep the clock as my head. All right, so the face of the clock is now my face. So you can see there that the clock goes up to, what number did I say? I said the clock goes up to the number 12, right? So we have 1, which is the first 5 minutes. Now, don't worry about the hands on the clock. I just pulled up a clock. Actually, I probably should have pulled up just the right clock. Oops. All right, there we go. So no hands on the clock, but still is my face. Okay, so you could see there the clock goes up to the number 12, doesn't it? And from the number 12 to the number 1, what you have there are 5 tick marks. Each tick mark on the clock is 1 minute. Each tick mark on the clock is 1 minute. All right. So what do I mean by tick marks? Well, let's see here. I'm going to that was my Happy New Year. Oop, I forgot my other thing. Did I not put that there? Hold on. No, I've got it. I didn't want my face all the way up there. Oh, there, yes, that is what I wanted right there. Okay, so here we have a clock, the clock. Let me get this nice and neat for you. Okay, and then I want to show you the tick marks. So what are we talking about when we are talking about tick marks? What we're talking about, let me blow this up a little bit, is we are talking about each one of these small marks. That's a tick mark right there, all right? And so if I counted those tick marks in between the 12 and the 1, starting with that one, I would have 1. That's not what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to move. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and by the time I got to number 1, I would have 5 tick marks, okay? And then the same thing when I go to number 2. 1. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. If I go to the number 2, I would also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I go to the number 3, how many do you suppose I would have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see then why we want to learn to count by 5s to tell time. Because every time a minute passes, well, every time we go from one number on the clock to the next number, that is 5, right? That's 5 minutes is what that is. 5 minutes. Every time we go from one number to the next, that's 5 minutes. So, if I count by 5s, for example, if the clock hand is on the 3, let's go take a look at that, shall we? If our clock hand is on the 3, and we count by 5s from 1 to 3, we know how many minutes. All right, that's not what I wanted. Have gone by from the 12 to the 3. If we count by 5s, we can know how many minutes have gone by from the 12 to the 3. Oh, I don't have that on for you. Here I am yelling at you. There it is. So if the hand is on the 3, we can count by 5s from the 12 to the 3 to find out how many minutes have passed. So, counting by 5s, we have 5, 10, 15. So when the clock hand is on the 3, how many minutes have gone by? 5, 10, 15, right? If the clock hand let me move this so I don't. Oh, jeez. If the clock hand is on the 6, we can count by 5s to see how many minutes have passed. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So when the clock hand is on the 6, 30 minutes have passed. That's how many tick marks are between the 12 and the 6. 30. We could count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Remember, we said 15 here. 15 minutes have passed if the hand is on the 3. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 minutes have passed if the hand is on the 4. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So we could count each one of those little tick marks in order to find out how many minutes are between the 12 and the 6 here, right? We can count all those tick marks, or we can count by 5s because we were right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So what if the hand Let's make that a little bigger. Now that we're not just counting, now that we're counting more than tick marks. So what if the hand is on the 9? How about if the hand, let's not say the hand is on the 9. Let's say the hand is right there. Let's say that this hand is right there. Then how many minutes have passed? Well, let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 41, 42. 42 minutes have passed. And now look at, we are also learning. Oh, you weren't seeing all the counting, were you? Ugh. 42 minutes have passed. Oh, you probably also didn't see the 30, did you? So let's go back to the 30. Let's do the 42 minutes right now. I think you get the gist of it, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's where our 30 was when the big hand was on the 6. 35, 40, 41, 42. So, like I started to say, we are not only learning to count by 5's, we are not only learning to tell time, right? But we are also learning how to count by 1's as well, all the way through now. We are reviewing all of our counting and all of our numbers. Let's see, what time do we have here? Oh, we are out of time, folks. So we're going to come back. We only talked about counting the numbers. That was actually the biggest part of telling time. Now the rest of it is, why do we have a small hand and why do we have a big hand? So tomorrow we're going to finish up how to tell time. But you can go and tell your parents, you know what the big hand is on. What we're counting is the big hand. Let me give you a little hint. The small hand is on the number, right? It's the number that we use. For the big hand, we count the little ticks. For the small hand, we look at the number on the clock. For the small hand, we look at the number on the clock. And for the big hand, we count the ticks. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thank you for joining me here in the Early Bird Classroom, where we do all kinds of fun and interesting things. Am I out of time? Let me see. We start at 8:30. No, I go to 9:15, don't I? I keep doing that, don't I? I need a break. No, I don't need a break. So now we know what the big hand does. What does the big hand do? The big hand tells us about the ticks. All right? So I wanted to do this. There we go. Okay, so there we are showing you a big hand on the clock, all right? And again, the big hand is telling us how many ticks. The big hand is telling us how many minutes. On a clock, we have hours and we have minutes. What hour of the day is it? It could be 1 o'clock. That would be an hour of the day. Could be noon. That would be an hour of the day. The small hand tells us the hour. the big hand tells us the minutes. So when we're looking at time, oh, we can do this one. We have a small hand and we have a big hand. Can you tell where the small hand is on this clock? That would be the shorter arrow. Can you tell where the shorter arrow is on that clock? What's it pointing to? What was that? Yes, exactly. The small hand is pointing to the 11. That's telling us, what is that telling us? The hour of the day. If it's about 11 o'clock in the morning, what does that look like? Not quite like this, but almost, doesn't it? 11 o'clock in the morning looks almost something like this. It's kind of hard to see outside, but you can see it's pretty bright. And if it were 11 o'clock in the morning, it'd probably look that same glaring look, right? Unless the sun came out, which is highly unlikely. It's January in Michigan. But if it were 11 o'clock at night, not 11 o'clock in the morning, would it look like that? If the hour were 11 o'clock at night, the hour, would it look like that? Not here in Michigan. It'd be nighttime. I think in most places it would be nighttime, wouldn't it? And it would be pitch black out there, January, 11 o'clock p.m., 11 o'clock at night, right? So there's something else that we're learning. It's not what I wanted. We are learning about the hour of time. The hour of time. Give me a sec. There we go. Let me find my annotations. They're there. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we've got the hour of time, which is where the small hand is. And the small hand, here, let's look at this one. This one's a little easier. So we've got the small hand here, right? And that gives us the hour of time. What is the small hand on? The small hand is on the 9. So the hour of time here is the first number. What's the small hand on over here? What was that? I know, I was moving things around and not paying attention, so I didn't hear you. The small hand is on the what? Is on the 11. The small hand is on the 11, very similar to our clock here, right? The small hand being on the 11. And the large hand in this case is on the 4. Those are representing the minutes. So the small hand, the hour, is the first number that we see. The small hand is the first number that we see. And then here, the small hand there, where's the small hand? Well, the small hand there is between the 6 and the 7, isn't it? The big hand's on the 6. Sometimes the small and big hand can be on the same number, can't it? Sometimes the small and the big hand can be on the same number. That's usually on 12. Right here, it can't be on both of the hands can't be on both 6s because the small hand, when the big hand is on the 6, the small hand is going to be in between the 6 and the 7.